concentrating, focusing too much on what could happen instead of how can we, keep up our health and well-being. So Qi means, yes, energy substance, but it also means information substance and physical matter substance. So all these three level of substances are hidden in the word Qi. And if you study it a little bit more deeper, you can actually look up the symbol, the character of the Chinese character of Qi, and you will find the three characters of information substance, physical substance, and energy substance in that character. It's actually really profound and inspiring.
Hey, Health Junkies. On this episode of the Health Fix podcast, I'm interviewing Britta Stalling, and we're going to be talking all about Qigong. Now, we're also going to do a demo later on, so stay tuned. Now, if you're not familiar with Qigong, Qigong is a traditional Chinese medicine technique that combines body movements, breathing, and meditation to help create balance within the body. It's often referred to as the internal Tai Chi, and it's been used for thousands of years to help humans overcome life struggles, mental struggles, and physical struggles with their health. Now, Britta is going to share with us a 9-minute and a 5-minute Qigong session and give us a really good idea of what Hunyuan Qigong is like. And she's going to talk about her experience coming to this practice and how Dr. Peng Ming, who created the world's first medicineless hospital in China, inspired her to keep going with this practice. Now, while his hospital is no longer in existence, he's still alive and practicing Qigong at his home in Beijing. Now, not only does Britta really inspire me to stop calling my patients and instead call them clients, since students doesn't feel correct, but Dr. Peng Ming decided that once someone came to work with him, they were no longer a patient, they were a student, because the idea is once you use the term patient, you're kind of giving your power over to a doctor. And I don't want that for anyone. I want everyone to team up and work with me in a collaborative type of style of work. So I'm like, yeah, I'm done using the word patient. We're calling everybody clients from now on. And that's what we're doing. So anyway, Britta has such great stories about how she's seen tumors reduce and how she even worked on her own menopause symptoms and eliminated them using Qigong after a couple of months. Such a fascinating story here. I hope you guys enjoy this one because it helps me to get more out on the amazing things that we have in Chinese medicine and the amazing tools that you can tap into that do not require taking supplements, do not require any money at all, really just the effort and time to learn them. So let's introduce you to Britta Stalling. Welcome to the Health Fix podcast, where health junkies get their weekly fix of tips, tools, and techniques to have limitless energy, sharp minds, and fit physiques for life. Britta Stalling, welcome to the Health Fix podcast.
Thank you so much, Zhineng, for inviting me and getting to know you, getting to meet you, and also, be a contribution to your beautiful audience.
Well, I'm so excited to talk about Qigong because I haven't talked about it much as we talked earlier, and that it's so powerful and it's something that I really want my patients and folks to really learn that they can do this in 5 minutes a day. And we're going to get into that a little bit later with the practice. So guys, stick around. We're going to teach you something here, and it will be 5 minutes. You can do it every single day. But before we get into that, Britta, we got to tell folks, how did you come to traditional Chinese medicine, Qigong, and learning from Dr. Peng Ming? How, like, a medicineless hospital? I mean, I have so many questions. So we got to start with, how did you meet Dr. Peng Ming and get interested in TCM?
Okay, thank you so much for asking. So actually, I was introduced to this particular Qigong form, which Dr. Peng Ming developed, let's say by chance. At that time, I was living in Germany, And I was running a training company focusing on leadership and personal development. So we were doing trainings in the Netherlands and also in Germany. And my colleague from the Netherlands went to a workshop of this particular Qigong form. And she reported afterwards, Britta, you have to try this because it's so much related to what we teach and share in our training academy about personal leadership and also leading others. And I didn't even know what it was. What is Qigong? What is this about? But I signed up for a newsletter at that time. And I was always checking, is there an opening? I could join this particular workshop. And because I was teaching and sharing over the weekend myself, it took 2 years until there was an opening. And the interesting thing was, it was the last opening before I moved to South Africa, Cape Town. I clearly remember it was November 2024. And from January 2025, I lived in Cape Town. So I went to this one-day workshop, and I was thinking about my intention, and I just thought, okay, I'm just gonna explore it. I'm just gonna see what this is all about. And then after the day, I learned some basic methods. I was thinking to myself, will I ever be able to practice this? It's still a bit, of course, new to me. And also it seemed a bit complicated. And I only got a CD from this workshop because at that time, no videos, no podcasts, no training online, nothing. And I moved to Cape Town. And one of the women who was leading the workshop, she was like waving me goodbye. And she was saying, oh, Britta, maybe one day you bring this to South Africa. And I was like, inside of me, I was asking myself, what do you know what I don't know yet? Because I don't even know if I'm going to practice this by myself, right? So, but there I was taking the CD. I moved to Cape Town together with my husband, and something was pulling me. So I was actually really practicing with this CD. I didn't have a teacher in Cape Town. I couldn't join a group. So I was just trying by myself to follow the routine. And then I had some, very amazing benefits actually in a very short time. And that then made me very curious because I was into personal growth and leadership topics and how can we, live our full potential for many, many years. And I also have a strong intention to keep my health related to a personal experience. So then I thought, let's give it a try and dive deeper into it. And I started a teacher training then actually half a year later, to my surprise. And here I am now teaching and sharing worldwide and also offering an international educational program together with one of the best Zhineng Qigong masters from China. So I'm very blessed, actually, 20 years later.
Oh, my goodness. I think a lot of people are probably thinking like, okay, they've seen, there's been lots of Qigong masters of different teachings online, and they talk about the amazing things that happen when starting Qigong. Now, what did you notice? Because you mentioned a couple health things shifted for you. What did you notice yourself personally when you started Qigong?
So great question. And what I noticed for myself, I also actually got feedback from friends, new colleagues, because we started a business actually in Cape Town. And first of all, when you start a business, I think everybody can relate to it. You move to a different country. It's on a different continent even. You start a new business. Everything. And we actually wanted to explore South Africa and, be more, let's say, take it more easy because it's a beautiful country and a beautiful nature. Now, having said that, I noticed that I would be more calm despite the challenges of opening a new company. And I mean, things are happening which you did not anticipate. You cannot plan everything ahead. I would be more relaxed. I would actually be more joyful. And also what I noticed is I was actually in a good health status, but when you move to a different continent and a different country, there are different viruses and bacteria. And I noticed that people around me would catch it and I didn't. I was in the same office meeting these people and they would, get it, but me, I wouldn't. So that made me think, how come? And then also, I started to notice that I'm more creative. Like if there's a challenge, I would from inside suddenly have an idea or the solution. And I would talk to people who know me more. My skill at that time was more about managing, making sure a project would be successful, and also I'm a pretty good leader, I think. But I was not so strong until that time to have brilliant ideas to really tackle issues and let's say also maybe visions, for the future. And I started that my creativity would increase. So to sum it up, on a mental level, on an emotional level and physical level, I would feel more fitness, more, be more in a vibrant health environment, but also, more happy and more stable emotionally and mentally, more clear and more creative. Yes.
You've probably hit on like all the things that so many people want, especially as we trend, I like to look at from, perimenopause into menopause as much like a metamorphosis, right? And I think as we're moving through all that, those are all the things like everyone's like grasping for. I just want to feel more calm. I want to feel more happy. I want to feel more creative. It's one of the big things I hear a lot from folks. And this is an interesting concept of how do we regain our creativity, and also at a time when the mind is feeling the effects of lowered estrogen. A lot of folks right now are questioning, do I need the hormone replacement therapy, or can I inherently stir up the chi, let's call it, to make our own natural hormones to get the mind more creative, to get the memory back on point. Have you noticed as you've continued to practice that memory, mind, those kind of things have continued to see benefits? And have you seen benefits in some of the folks you've worked with as well?
Yes, I mean, for sure. And having said that, practice is key. So that's probably where most people, go like, oh, can I really integrate that in my daily routine? And I think I've made a conscious choice over the past 20 years to do so, because I have a strong intention not to be in hospital, not to fall ill, not to have an injury, not to whatsoever. And when I started to have menopause symptoms, that was actually an interesting experience because I was already a Zhineng Qigong practitioner. And I thought, okay, now I start to get the symptoms like feeling tired, having more mood swings, and really feeling that, something is happening inside, which I was unsure what actually is going on. And I then made a conscious choice to visit a homeopathic doctor who was recommended to me in my network. And her name is Dr. Retter. And it's so cute because Retter means saving you in German. So I thought, okay, that's
perfect.
A cool woman. It's perfect. She's going to save me from whatever I'm experiencing here. And my intention was actually to understand more the symptoms of menopause, to really understand, how does it impact my brain cells, my mind, my hormone system, and my whole, ability to functioning well. And she was really cool because she gave me a lot of information, and she also gave me some homeopathic medicine. And then I thought, okay, now I have the information I need, and I use my Qigong knowledge and skills, what we say in Qigong, to transform this information. So I worked actually mainly on the mental and emotional level. I took the remedies, yes, but after a few weeks, I was fine. And then, I noticed that they would start to be transformed and disappear. And I did not focus on them. That's actually one skill of Qigong. Dr. Pang is inviting us not to focus too much on the disease information or symptoms information, but rather focus on the intention for your health. And knowing that as a practitioner, I thought, okay, now it's a perfect moment to apply what I know and what masters have told me, and taught me. So, it's a perfect opportunity to really practice what we teach ourselves. And the confirmation then I went to a gynecological doctor in Cape Town for my routine examination. And I shared with him, I developed this menopause symptoms, but and then he said, also knows I'm a Qigong practitioner. And then he said, Britta, do you actually know that only 20% of the women, based on their physical condition, actually should suffer from menopause symptoms? And it's actually around the world, the numbers are the other way around. So it's 80% of the women suffering from menopause symptoms and only 20% don't. And I was like, that's interesting. And in that moment, I decided, okay, I belong to the 80% who do not need to suffer this. It's like I got a confirmation that my practice, my intention to use my Qigong practice was confirmed by a doctor of Western medicine. And he literally said, Britta, but because it's so much information about what kind of menopause symptoms, and 80% of the women will get it. So you are one of the 80%. And we are then actually, how do you say that, focusing too much on what could happen instead of how can we, keep up our health and well-being on a mental, emotional, and physical level. And he was actually confirming that this is actually the right path to go.
I've come to find that. I know a lot of folks in my industry, that's their focus. They have their patients focusing on that. And I feel like when you focus on the same thing over and over again, it does not get better. It's kind of like weight loss. You want to lose weight, you keep focusing on it, the weight doesn't go anywhere. And when you forget about it in a way, it tends to work. And so it does make sense. Now, I have a question for you, and I think a lot of people might be thinking, who is this Dr. Peng Min? And how did you find him in his Medicineless hospital in China? This is by far the coolest thing ever that I really want folks to hear about, is a Medicineless hospital. But tell us a little bit about, how did you find Dr. Peng Min?
Great. So I actually was introduced to him by, exploring Zhineng Qigong, the Qigong form, and practice it. And at the beginning of my journey, there were masters from China who were working with him in the Medicineless hospital, who then learned English and started to teach and share in the US first, but then also Europe. So when I did my teacher training, I went actually to China, I think after the first year of studying more and practicing more deeply. And I was in a retreat there and heard a lot of stories then about the Medicineless hospital he developed. So Dr. Peng Min is a doctor trained in Western medicine and Chinese medicine. And he is also a Qigong practitioner since his early years, because he had a health issue. And at that time, the medicine could not help him, but the parents then introduced him to a Qigong master who helped him for his health issue, but then also found out that he is quite skillful as a young boy. So he started a training there with him and also other Qigong masters over time. And he opened up his own practice space in Beijing, offering patients the possibility to get treatment based on Western medicine and TCM medicine. But then he found that for some conditions, he could not really help his patients. And he had really the intention to be a contribution to humanity, for humanity to understand that vibrant health is not a dream. You can really reach it. So with his own diligent Qigong practice, he then decided to focus on Qigong only and develop a specific Qigong form who could help people suffering from diverse health issues and conditions, and through practice then heal themselves. We could also say activate the self-healing abilities inside to then overcome the illnesses like MS, where, Western medicine, TCM medicine cannot really help, only maybe lingering the symptoms, but not really and prolonging life, but not really cure, the diagnosis or the illness. And Parkinson, for example, high, low blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, tumor, so you name it. And he started then to develop what we call Zhineng Qigong, wisdom Qigong, to help the people activate the self-healing potential from deep within. He started to teach and share in Beijing, and the group grew over time. He started maybe with 10 people, and then it was 100, then it was several hundreds, until they found that they need to have a space. So he created, let's say, a training center, where he also involved other doctors. So if you came as a patient, you would be examined by these doctors. You would then not be named patient anymore, but student. That was very important because as a patient, we often have the feeling we are out of control. We give ourselves into the hands of the prescription, into the hands of a doctor. And that can be good. I mean, to partner up with the doctor, I've done that in the past. And it's very good if you really if you see this as a partnership. Because obviously the doctor can have knowledge which you don't have. But it becomes tricky when you give yourself 100% in the hands of another person. And in Zhineng Qigong, we really say, you are in charge of your own health and well-being. You even are responsible for your own health and well-being. And responsibility, I love the English word for it, means the ability to respond. So we have all this ability to respond, no matter what challenge we face in our life. So coming back to Dr. Pang, he then established this clinic, this hospital, this, let's say, training center, which had 3 divisions. So one division was like the healing center. People would come with their health issues all over China. They didn't do marketing because it was word of mouth. People were recommended, to come to this center. They had a research center and they had a trainer center. So over the years, Dr. Pang trained 800 teachers. And Master Yuan Tong Liu, one master I work closely together with since 2014, has been trained directly by Dr. Pang Ming and has worked in this Medicineless hospital for 10 years. And then maybe especially for our friends in America, Greg Braden, who is also very international, very well known with his work, he refers in his videos often to the Medicineless hospital. He shows this video where Dr. Pang's students actually gave a treatment to a person suffering from a bladder tumor, and that tumor disappeared within minutes. And Master Liu has done these kind of treatments in the hospital himself for 10 years, and he's now teaching people in the West to give the same treatments. And we have actually done these treatments in our educational program to people as well from around the world. And witnessing that tumor can be dissolved or symptoms of MS or Parkinson can be decreased. Yeah, decreased is the right word. And even healed. We have. I know actually people who went back to the doctors and they could not find symptoms of MS, Parkinson, or even ALS in their body anymore.
That is so wild. As Western folks, Americans in particular, a lot of us are going to be like, really? Because we've kind of been brainwashed to think that once you get ALS, once you get Parkinson's, like, that's it, you're done, and cancer, tumors, things of that nature. I mean, I got into this whole medicine because of my mom's acupuncturist when she was going through chemo and all of the therapies. And yeah, you just, I think you made the best point earlier is taking the responsibility for yourself and taking care of yourself, because unfortunately it is still common in the US to give your power over to the doctors, the therapies, the diagnosis, the chemo, and it doesn't seem to be working. It seems.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, I think the key word is self-healthcare, and to find that we are invited to find an approach, some kind of tools, methods, mindset. We need to start with the mindset first, that we can take care of our health. And I think I mentioned that before. My powerful intention to keep my health was inspired. Now I can see it like that. At the time, I didn't. And for decades, I was suffering tremendously because I lost my dad when I was 8 years old. He died of cancer. And as an 8-year-old, seeing himself suffering for 2 years, based because of that illness, and at that time, not a lot of help was offered. It was quite fresh still, the whole idea of cancer. And then the suffering in my family, my mom and my dad, they were really close. They were really loving each other. My brothers, we were all like, from one day to another, we were like lost. And at that time, also not a lot of support, school teachers, or, you would just shut everything down. Mm-hmm. And having said that, in that moment, I must have told myself, that I want to stay healthy in order not to bring suffering to neither myself nor to my family members or loved ones. I would like to, stay healthy. And in that way, because we also say in Qigong, if you have a powerful intention, and that is we can only create powerful intentions by our own ability to reflect, to use our consciousness. Nobody can give us an intention. I mean, if you think about it, the doctor cannot give us an intention. And I think Dr. Joe Dispenza also is a very famous example. He used what we would call Qigong, because he used his consciousness to heal himself from this tragic triathlon accident. So, and I mean, it's amazing. It took him only a couple of months to repair by his consciousness his own spine. So we have many, many examples of living beings on this planet. So then actually in Zhineng Qigong, we say, if Dr. Joe Dispenza could do this, then you can do it. If somebody could heal from MS, you can do it. If somebody could heal from Parkinson, you can do it. If somebody has dissolved a tumor or a cyst, then you can do it. That's always, and we are actually very blessed that these Zhineng Qigong masters now come to the West. We do not even need to travel to China anymore. Dr. Pang actually in the beginning said, as a Westerner, if you want to learn from him, you need to learn Chinese. Many years, that's a lot to ask for. But now we are very, very blessed. They come to us, to the West, and they bring this message to us. What I can do, you can do. Really on eye level. And that is also because, you asked earlier, who's Dr. Pan Ming? What is his legacy for the world? And I think one of his biggest legacy next to the Medicineless Hospital is also that he says on eye level, he doesn't want to be on a high podest. He literally says, I'm a teacher as much as you are a teacher. I'm a student as much as you are a student. What I can do, you can do. That is, I think, amazing. There's actually no secret. We can study all these secrets now because it's much more transparent. But the question where every one of us has to ask ourselves, are we willing to invest resources? That's time. That's not only money, it's time. Like, are we willing to listen to your beautiful podcast? Take the time to be inspired. Are we then, if we are inspired, willing to do more research and really find out, is that something for me? Because I think also in your podcast so far, you are inspiring people to find their own unique way, because every human being is unique, whatever, fits to us individually. And then are we willing to invest, time, effort, practice, talks, finding like-minded people, meet in groups, continue to be inspired, because the human journey is quite interesting. Yeah. And we sometimes go in these waves, and we need to make sure these waves go up, and not down. And I think sometimes people are trapped in the downward spiral, but it's actually very easy to get out of it.
That's huge that you mentioned that, because I do think a lot of people feel like once they're going downward in a downward spiral, whether it's their health, whether it's mental health, it does seem like insurmountable to come back out of it. And, you've seen people dissolve tumors. That's got to be the most incredible thing to watch in general. Can you describe a couple of situations or a situation you've seen? Because I think for a lot of people, unfortunately, we see cancer, right? Or a neurological diagnosis as the bottom of the barrel, right? Like, I'm done. And then to bring up from there and being able to dissolve a tumor, that's wild. I've, of course, never seen that in my my sense. So give us a description. What's it like? What do you see? How, how long did it take? Because it sounded like just a short time.
Yes, so I think it's very important to understand that it is for each human being, it is a unique journey.
Mhm.
And for some, it might happen really in a few minutes. For others, it might happen and take some more time, like a few weeks or months. And I've also been in touch with people who took 1 or 2 years and others who didn't make it. So it is really, there is not a recipe, a once-off recipe, like you take this pill and then, it works. And if you talk to people, we are actually showcasting or we are presenting healing stories on one website where we share people's experiences. And and it's a bit more complex. So my answer is not like, do this and then you get this result.
Sure.
It is a bit more complex because it has to do with your mind. And one incident I can share with you when we welcomed one of our students into a holistic health retreat, and she had not only a cancer in her liver, but it also spread already in her spine, and the doctors were very skeptical. She got already treatments, and we were sharing with her the potential of Qin and Qigong, and we were sharing with her practices, and we also gave her treatments. At one stage, she told us, "Wow, I experience you being more committed in my health than I am in my own health journey." And that was the turning point for her. That was really like, wow, when you are so committed, I need to actually work on my commitment level and really decide and choose now it's possible for me. And in that moment, it's like an insight. When I compare all the different stories and experiences I have with people from around the world, it's that moment when you get a certain insight which lead you to a new choice on your mental level. You are choosing now, to really do everything what is in your hand to focus on your health. That's what she did. She changed her nutrition. She took more breaks from work. She actually practiced more Qin and Qigong. And then we witnessed that over the time, her tumor shrank and she really regained her health. One other person who also healed skin cancer, he shared with us it's the Qin and Qigong practice plus choosing joy. Even in his environment, his family members really were doubting, fearful, and he kept a high level of joy and really understanding that mental health, then the physical health will follow. And so it was. After a couple of months, the skin cancer, less, but he also practiced a couple of hours Qin and Qigong a day. So it's a combination of clearing your mind, setting your mind on a powerful health intention, and then choosing life activities supporting that new, let's say, mindset. And change nutrition. I know people have, for example, also healed eyesight problems like the degenerative macular degeneration, which leads to blindness. We have somebody in our network who had a strong intention. He's a pilot, so he wanted to, fly again. He is also not so old yet. So he changed nutrition completely. No sugar, no all these what could impact his eyesight badly, and he practiced. So both mindset, nutrition, practice. Yeah, so I can give you many examples, but not this, I think people need to understand it's their own journey and it starts with awareness. That's maybe a common thing because of awareness and new choices. then you can turn things around. But if you don't have that awareness for the potential you have and the power which comes from within, if you wait for somebody fixing from outside. I witnessed, for example, one person where in my network where I was present in a healing session where Zhineng Qigong masters told her, look, if you practice 8 hours a day, you will have a chance. But that person didn't choose to practice 8 hours a day. We have another person who chose to practice 6 hours a day, and he turned MS around. His organs already started to shut off.
Oof.
But he really chose, whenever he had a symptom, he practiced, and he added it up. It was up to 6 hours a day. And then after half a year, 9 months, he changed it around. Yeah, that is the thing. If you want to create self-health care, it's also about self-practice. It's about finding practices which work for you. And this can be yoga. It can be like in Scotland, Scottish doctors prescribe going to nature for people. Actually, I found it very interesting that, we need to be reminded, be more nature, be pursuing things which are meaningful to you, create more joy in your life, smile more. We have one, or maybe I could share that with the audience. It's a very, very simple practice. You need to test it out. That's also, by the way, a doctor from Switzerland having cancer. He's an oncologist. So he didn't trust chemotherapy. He searched, found Master Yuan Tong Liu, found Zhineng Qigong, went to a retreat, started to practice the practices we shared, came back 1 year later, was then, somebody who testified that Zhineng Qigong could work. And he raised his hand when we introduced this Gong. Gong means practice, tool, method. And he said to everybody in the audience, he said, dear ones, pay attention to this Gong because it literally saved my life. And he then would share his journey with Zhineng Qigong and how he healed himself from cancer. And the Gong is as follows. So simple, but so cool and profound. So you take 3 minutes in the morning when you wake up. You take 3 minutes over lunch, maybe before you have lunch. You take 3 minutes either before dinner or before you go to bed. And you smile into a mirror with yourself. If you don't have a mirror, everybody has a smartphone. So we can, put on the camera and right, because sometimes people say, but I don't find a mirror. And I go like, no, you have your phone, smile into the phone, put the camera on and do this for 3 minutes. So you can set a timer, you can post it somewhere if you find it difficult to remember. I bought a little smiling, how do you say it? It's over there, so I cannot bring it, but something which reminds me, to smile and to do this Gong. And this doctor said he followed the advice of Master Liu to do this practice. Actually, we said, try it only out for 10 days. But he said he did it for a couple of months because he felt the impact immediately. He felt how through the smiling, his cells would start to relax. He would be more calm. He would have more positive outlook. He would find that he finds a way. He was not so threatened anymore by this diagnosis. He would be more happy and joyful. And because of that, his cells started to heal. And obviously, next to the smiling Gong, he did the practices we shared in the retreat. So I forgot, maybe he practiced 1 hour, other methods, but he started to believe in himself. And maybe in the beginning, when people hear this and they go like, can it be that simple? Then I would like to already share with you, when you look into the mirror, maybe sometimes you don't like who you see.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes you go like, no, I don't want to look at you. I don't like you, or I don't like myself. I find I'm always, still in my old patterns, and I still have these ugly thoughts about myself. And now I should even face it, literally face, myself.
Mm-hmm.
But, another saying is the only way out is through. You keep it, even if you fake it. then you fake the smile and you know that you fake the smile. But interesting enough, after 3 minutes, you feel a bit better. And then you go, okay, I tried over lunch again. You start to feel a bit better. Okay, let's do it again after dinner or before I go to bed. And slowly, day by day, you really feel better. It's a super easy gong you can do immediately. And yeah, maybe people can then come back to you, Janine, and share with you, how that made a difference.
Oh, I love that one. It's so easy. Like, who doesn't have, 9 minutes throughout the course of a day? That's awesome. I like that one.
Yeah, actually, I think, Janine, you know this saying, how does it go in English? Eating an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So we say 9 minutes smiling gong keeps, the doctor away. But again, you can partner up with the doctor. I think that's very important. Dr. Pan Ming himself predicts the integrative medicine is rising. Western medicine, TCM medicine, alternative approaches really need to work closely together if we want to tackle the many health issues which are people having around the world. And it doesn't matter which country, if people in the States, they should not feel lonely because, all these health issues happening in Europe or in South Africa or all over the world. So
yeah.
We are not alone.
No, not at all. And definitely, yes, health issues are on the rise. So coming up with something we can do, and that one's awesome. Now, of course, you have one that we had talked about at the beginning, and I promised folks a 5-minute session that we could practice too. So we've had the smiling gong. And so we probably better explain, like you had said, gong practice, Qi, energy. We probably better explain what we're doing here with this energy practice and movement practice first. And then let's go into a 5-minute practice that you have for us, and we'll practice it here, and maybe we'll get some folks to keep practicing it.
Yes, with pleasure, Janine, and I really love this opportunity. So first, to give you the definition of Qigong is indeed, Gong means dedicated practice, method, tools, use certain approaches, to uplift your health and well-being. But you can also relate Gong to, let's say you're a musician, then you would transport the idea, or a doctor like you, you have spent tons of hundreds of thousands hours to master your art. So that's a gong, you just dedicate your time and your resources to master a certain skill. And Qi, Dr. Pan Ming gave a little bit more comprehensive definition, which we also will need when we practice, or it can be useful to understand it when we are introducing the method in a moment. So Qi means yes, energy substance, but it also means information substance and physical matter substance. So all these three level of substances are hidden in the word Qi. And if you study it a little bit more deeper, you can actually look up the symbol, the character of the Chinese character of Qi, and you will find the three characters of information substance, physical substance, and energy substance in that character. So it's actually really profound and inspiring. But before I go deeper, the practice I would like to share is not a movement. Obviously, Qigong has a lot of meditative movements which are designed to help the body to allow the Qi flow in the body be very free, unblocked, nourishing. So each Qigong practice, actually, when you practice 5 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, half an hour a day, will help you to be more feeling refreshed in your mind, but also feeling your emotions are more balanced and feeling the energy flow inside your body and the exchange with the energy of the universe, nature, and your physical body better, more improved. And the quality of Qi is higher. People are aging because the inner organs do not have enough Qi anymore, thus functioning ability is less. But with Qigong practice, you can actually reverse age and rejuvenate yourself and really refresh yourself so that you can be staying very young no matter your age. Hunyuan Tong chanting, that is actually a practice which we are invited to do if we like to enhance the Qi in our heart. The heart is the manager of all inner organs. So if we enhance the Qi in our heart, we can already be very relaxed because all other organs also benefit. It relates to it's the heart and lungs, actually, lungs. And then we are chanting a sound which helps the kidney Qi to be increased. And the kidney Qi is actually the prenatal Qi. So before we are born, actually, we already developed Qi. And the practices help us to nourish that prenatal Qi and make it even stronger. Strong kidney Qi also related, obviously, to overall good health. And the lung Qi is the postnatal Qi. If we also nourish that, then obviously Qi is improved in our whole body. And then the sound Ling is related to an energy center which we call Hunyuan Palace. And it is behind the spleen and 11th thoracic vertebra. And I help you in a moment to find it so that we can enhance the Qi there. And then Tong, meaning expanding, and we are expanding from Hunyuan Palace out through the head, through our sides, through the feet into the earth, beyond the earth, so to connect with the abundant, what we call Hunyuan Qi, with the universe. Hunyuan means merging, integrating into oneness. That's the fastest definition I can give. I can also lecture 15 minutes about it. But if people understand, we are merging, harmonizing, integrating into oneness with the life force, which is in nature, which is in the universe. And people can easily relate it. You do not need to be a Qigong practitioner. If you have like a power place in nature, it can be in the forest, it can be at the lake, it can be at the ocean, it can be in the park, your like favorite place in nature, and you just go there. Then I think people understand, yes, I just need to be there. Then what happens? The nature is nourishing the human body Qi to be relaxing and, integrate, harmonize, because nature always gives. We cannot fight with nature. You can start fighting, people also watch this on YouTube. You can now do it yourself, the space around you is nature. You fight with nature, you're the boxer now. What happens? When you really seriously do it, first nature doesn't fight back, but you start to be exhausted because you use all your muscle strength for nothing. Okay, that's another idea you can try out yourself. So it's actually very simple. Qigong is nothing mysterious. It is actually related to the laws of nature and the universe, and to use the laws and principles of nature and universe to benefit your own life force and your own well-being and health. That's maybe also another idea to look at it. So coming back to Hunyuan Ling Tong. Hun, H-U-N, Hun. You can put your hands on the lungs, and you can also close your eyes and just chant with me. Hun. And your mind integrates, harmonizes with the lungs, heart into oneness, and then you can actually experience the vibration inside. Hun. Breathe in. Hun. 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 Do you feel the vibration in your heart and in your lungs?
Yes. Yeah, you really do.
And I think listeners will do the same, when they just give it a try. And you can just chant 3, 4, 5 times to experience the vibration. Now you take your palms and you put them on your kidneys. So kidneys, obviously, you probably you should know where your kidneys in the lower back exactly. You will also experience them in a moment. So you both sides, your kidneys. You can close your eyes, and we are chanting now. Yuan. And your mind integrates, harmonizes in your both kidneys into oneness. Yuan. That is spelled Y-U-A-N. And you say Yuan. 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 And your mind continues to just merge, harmonize with your kidneys. into oneness. There's one principle we say in Qigong, where the mind goes, the Qi follows to flow. So even just with your practice, your mind integrates, harmonizes with the kidneys, the Qi already enhances your consciousness already helps the Qi in your kidneys to be enhanced. Okay. Now, Ling is the energy center. This part lungs is an energy center. We call it middle dantian. Lower dantian is between navel and the Ming point, which is between the second and third lumbar vertebrae. And in the center between navel and chest, we have a little bit where the rib cage is. We have the point, we have an energy center called Hunyuan palace. And you can put your hands here, and we are going to chant the sound Ling in a certain way. L-I-N-G, Ling, Ling. We first chant it flat, and then we rise it. So Ling, 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 Ling. And when we chant the Ling, we should normally then feel the space inside the Hunyuan palace reacting. So you can close your eyes. You can put both hands on the Zhongwang point, which is related to the Hunyuan palace, and you focus inside your mind, inside the space, the area close to the spleen, behind the 11th thoracic vertebra. And if you don't know exactly where it is, don't worry. You just focus inside. You will feel it in a moment as we chant together. Ling, 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 Ling. So if you do that 5 times, did you experience it, Janine? The center, yeah. Could you feel it?
Yeah, I could totally feel the vibration there, like under my hands. I wasn't sure if I would feel it, but I definitely did. And I like the lead part because I feel like things lift up with it.
Yes, exactly. So that's great. Ling actually means in Chinese, well-informed, sensitive, miraculous. So when we chant the sound Ling, that's also something people can do. Just chant the sound Ling. Then you're enhancing your own vibration for miraculous things happening in your life, miraculous healing, but also miraculous manifestation of intentions you're having in your personal or professional life. Okay, so this really can help also on a professional level. I've used Hunyuan Tong to manifest many professional intentions I had in the past and I have for the future. So it's very powerful. We can expand the idea beyond health. Okay, if people are listening and say, yeah, but I'm pretty healthy, then I go like, okay, then try it out for other intentions you have. Then Tong, meaning you're expanding from the Hunyuan palace out to by way through the underneath your feet and all directions. With your mind, you're just expanding, and there's no particular need to have your hands. If your hands help you expanding, you can just use them to expand, and then your mind follows your hands. But you can also do it without using your hands. So from Hunyuan Palace, you just focus inside your Hunyuan Palace, and we are chanting. Tong, expanding out from inside Hunyuan Palace, all bodily layers, inner organs, skin, and then out into the space. In the more far, the better. Like if you can really expand into the center of the universe, great. You just try it out. We breathe in and chanting. Tong. 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 One more time. Breathe in. Tong. So normally what happens if you're chanting Tong, you are expanding your awareness into the space, so beyond your physical existence. And that helps us to relax, calm down, and feel more the unity we have. We human beings have lost the understanding that we are one, with nature, with other living beings, with other human beings, with the space surrounding us, and that we can get nourished, by nature and the universe. So, and now we put everything together because of time. I think it's just what we can do is now we are chanting Hunyuan Ling Tong a few times in a row, but we connect it. Okay, so when we are invited to collect and gather the qi and merge it with the lungs. Inside our mind then goes to the kidneys, then we go to the Hunyuan palace, and then we expand. And we can use the hands to help us. So for those who are watching the YouTube video, I'm now using my hands, but if you're more experienced, let go of the hands and please just chant without, because the hands are only there for the beginning. And then we notice that we can focus our mind. We learn also by this practice to focus our mind. The reason why people are more distracted and more feeling the inner, how do you say that? They are not calm anymore. They lost their inner peace and their relaxation is because we haven't trained our mind enough to focus and stay concentrated into one. And this practice also helps.
Hey, health junkies. Britta and I are going to do a 5-minute Hunyuan Qi Gong session with you. So if you're driving, it might be a little bit difficult to do this while listening, but I also have a video of this. So if you go over to YouTube, we will have a special section just for this little clip so that you can also follow along. And if you're up for it and you want to join my email list where I share 3 emails a week of lovely information, insider tips, things of that nature, I'm going to put the video into my email series, which will end up being posted on my website in the blog. So you could join my email series if you're interested. Just head over to my website, drjcrossnd.com, and sign up, scroll to the bottom, and you're in. Then you can learn more tips, tricks, and fun things that I learned from my practice and my podcast. So let's get into the Qigong.
So we literally will feel more relaxed practicing it. All right, so you sit upright and then you gently close your eye. You bring your awareness inside. You can bring your awareness first inside the center space of your head. We literally bring our mind home. And you experience the center space of your head as a very large, bright, clear, even transparent space. And from here, we are shining deeply inwardly and we are connecting with our lungs. We are enhancing the qi in our lungs. And we can open our hands and arms and we bring in the abundant qi. We move our hands to the lungs to touch our lungs while we are chanting. Om. Then we are chanting Yuan, bringing our hands to the kidneys. Yuan. Our mind at the same time moves from the lungs to the kidneys. Then we are moving our mind and the qi from the kidneys to the Hunyuan palace, chanting Ling, moving the hands to the Zhongwang point above Hunyuan palace. And then with Tong, we are chanting, expanding from inside out. Tong. Connecting, harmonizing with the abundant Hunyuan Qi from the universe. Bring the Qi into your lungs, chanting Om. Yuan, moving the Qi into the kidneys. Ling, moving the Qi into Hunyuan palace. Om, expanding. Collecting, gathering the Qi Hold lungs,
Yuan,
Yuan kidneys, Ling Hunyuan palace, Tong
Tong,
expanding out. And now we collect and gather chi, and don't use the hands, just focus. Hold lungs, Yuan kidneys, Ling Hunyuan palace, Tong expanding out. 3 more times. Hunyuan,
Yuan,
Ling,
Tong,
Tong, Hunyuan,
Yuan,
Ling,
Ling,
Tong, Hunyuan,
Yuan,
Ling,
Ling, Tong,
Tong. Last 2 times. Hunyuan,
Yuan,
Ling,
Ling, Tong,
Tong, Hunyuan,
Yuan,
Ling,
Ling,
Tong. Then
Tong.
open your hands and arms, collect and gather chi from all directions. Put your hands on Zhongwang point related to Hunyuan Palace. Think inside Hunyuan Palace. Experience you have enhanced the quality of chi and the energy level inside. Then you move your mind down to the space in between your kidneys, what we call lower dantian, the energy center for your physical abilities and functioning of your body. And your hands move down to the navel. Woman right hand, man left hand first. And we just nourish the space inside the kidneys, because that practice has helped us to increase the chi flow throughout our body. Our inner organs are relaxed, full of chi. Our emotions are more in balance, nourishing the upright, positive emotions. Our mind is more clear, stable, pure, creative, and strong. Trust the result of your short practice and come back to this practice at any time of the day, whenever you feel you'd like to enhance your own health and well-being, either mentally, emotionally, or physically. Yuan, Ling, Tong, Paola. Paola meaning all is well, perfectly successful already. All right. Thank you.
Oh, that was
Thank you very
great.
much.
That was great. You also successfully got my dog to come over here. He was like, "What is this? What is going on?" He always comes over when I do energy practices. And so it's cool because he just actually made a sound. He went, "Hmm." So I think he wanted to join in.
Animals are very connecting to chi practice. I know a lot of practitioners who have dogs who, sit, calm down. The dog of my mom always goes like, "Oh, please give me more chi." Yeah,
They're,
they have an inner sense for good energy. Yes,
they
they
sure
really do.
do. Yeah, he just made a little.
Paula.
I've never heard him make an actual noise with any of it. So that one he really resonated with. I think he liked that one. Oh, that's the best. That's
That's
the
fun.
best. So, gosh, Britta, so much good stuff here. I think everyone's got a sense now of how Qigong can help them and how it really, I mean, I feel energized. I'm like ready to go now. And
Oh, great. I'm happy to hear that.
I'm hoping that a lot of folks will practice this, try it out. And this one's the 5-minute one. You could try the 9-minute one we talked about earlier. You could do them both. There's no, I think for a lot of people, we feel like there has to be like a formula. And really in this case, and I hope you can read it, there's no right or wrong.
No, I mean, sometimes people practice, a few days and then they pause and then they restart again. So I mean, obviously, the recommendation maybe is try it out for 10 days, and see 10 days is not a lot in your life. see the impact. And what we just experienced only a few minutes, we are ready to go. We are more energized. And that's it. Yeah, I think now it's a time where human beings are invited to make their lives a bit more easier. Stop making your life too complex. I used to be, and maybe I still am, because that's how we raised, things need to be complex, but no, it's actually the more simple, the better.
I agree. Yeah, this is good stuff. I think folks are really going to like it. Now, of course, folks are going to be wondering, Britta, where do I find you? How do we get your trainings? How do we do this? Can you share with folks where they can find you, where they might find some trainings, events, where might you be live? How can they get in touch with you?
Yes, thank you very much for asking. So, or wanting to share it with the community. So, there are different ways. Obviously, we offer online programs, and these are 3 weeks programs. Fridays 2 hours, Saturdays 3 hours, and then Mondays and Wednesdays optional practice times. The next one we are always running them in December, March, and September. They are available as self-paced programs too. If people say, no, I would like to do it my own time. We are offering retreats in Europe, in the US, in China. So best way, we are also offering an educational program where you can learn directly by Master Yuan Tong Liu about all the tools and methods as Dr. Pang shared them in the Medicineless hospital. Actually, we have trained already 250 health and well-being coaches based on Qi and Qigong science and Hunyuan Qi therapy, and around 70 of them work on a professional level. They integrate the tools, with their clients, either as TCM doctors or general doctors or coaches or massage therapists, shiatsu therapists. No matter what your discipline has been, it's also quite a great way to integrate Hunyuan Qi therapy and Qi and Qigong. So there are many ways. So are you going to place the links on underneath, or do you want me to mention them?
Yes, let's mention them just in case someone's listening and can get the idea of what website to go to and link. And then I will have everything in my podcast notes at drjkrausend.com.
Great. Thank you so much. So the one website is www.life-changer-worldwide.com, lifechanger-worldwide.com. And the other one about our health and well-being coach program is Hunyuan Qi therapy. So Hunyuan therapy. I forgot the Qi in between. So QI for Qi and then therapy.com. Yes. And maybe I could also announce that we are publishing a book about the Medicineless Hospital and this whole work. And it will be out later this year. Yeah. So we expect autumn, early winter time now, 2024.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. I did see that. And you're going to have that on your website, or will that be everywhere, like Amazon too? Folks can find that.
Yes, Amazon. And we are researching other platforms at the moment, so that we would like to make it available. And because in that book, it's not only theory, we also share a lot of practices like meditations or little practices you can do, like the smiling gong is in it as well.
Did I see it like 300 practices within the book? Is that what I was reading? Something like there was something with 300.
It's 300. Yeah, it's 300 pages.
Okay.
But it's around 400 practices Dr. Pang has developed.
Wow.
But we don't need all of them. Yeah, we are invited to choose practices which resonate with us. Like the Hunyuan Tong chanting, for example, is a practice which resonated very early with me in my Qi and Qigong journey, and I experienced so many benefits. So it's better you choose certain practices which resonate with you and continue to practice them and become a master in that, and then it's not about learning all 400. That will not make sense.
Makes sense. What's the name of the book again, so we can put that into the podcast notes?
Okay, so the name is Ancient Chinese Medicine, The Secrets for Holistic Health, Well-Being, and Modern Life.
Perfect. Guys, we'll have that in our podcast notes too. And it's out later this year in the fall here.
Yes.
So we'll look forward to getting that out and getting a look at the book too as well. Britta, thank you so much for coming on and sharing 2 sessions with us in terms of things folks could try in addition to all of your knowledge. I think this one will be very inspiring for a lot of folks. Thank you again.
Great. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you, Janine, for being such an amazing contribution to humanity, and helping also your, community to grow and evolve. And I think that's what the world now needs. And it starts with each one of us. We cannot expect others to do the work for us, and we cannot not do it. I think that if we really want to help the planet, then actually we need to help ourselves first. Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Hey, fellow health junkie, thanks for listening to the Health Fix podcast. If you enjoyed tuning in, please help support me to get the word out about the podcast. Subscribe, rate, and review, and just get that word out. Thanks again for listening.